It's the twist no child of a famous parent ever wants to face. Being excluded from a parent's will is a painful blow for anyone, but when that parent is a global celebrity with a seemingly vast fortune, the emotional sting is often paired with public shock. This week, reports claimed that Bindi and Robert Irwin received only a modest payout from their late father Steve Irwin's estate, despite his fame and commercial success. They are far from the only high-profile children who have been left with surprisingly little when the will was read. Here's a detailed look at other celebrity heirs who found themselves shortchanged, and the stories behind why. 1. Michael Hutchence. Michael Hutchence, the charismatic INXS frontman, appeared to be at the height of wealth and fame in the mid-1990s. His will, drafted in 1996, specified that his only child, Heavenly Hirani Tiger Lily Hutchence Gildoff, would receive 3 lump sums of £12 million when she turned 18, 21, and 25. Yet by 2019, at age 22, Tiger Lily revealed she had seen almost none of it. In a candid conversation with filmmaker Richard Lowenstein, who made a documentary about her father, she admitted, "I've never received anything from anyone." Lowenstein later said she told him she once received an envelope containing just £500 from Chardonnay Investments, a company controlling Hutchins' estate, nearly a decade earlier. She described one meeting with an accountant when she turned 21 as so bad she never pursued it again. Hutchence will directed the first $500,000 of his estate to Amnesty International and Greenpeace. The rest was to be split among close family and his partner Polly Yates, with half ultimately for Tiger Lily. But after his 1997 death by suicide, an executor's report claimed he had died with only $506 in cash and $572 in INXS accounts, raising questions about where his fortune had gone. The mystery has never been fully resolved, and many believe complicated corporate structures and financial mismanagement meant the singer's intended wealth never reached his daughter. 2. Don Bradman. Sir Donald Bradman, Australia's cricketing hero, left behind more than just sporting records. He had amassed wealth through wise investments, property, and the commercial licensing of his name. But his 2001 will surprised many. His children, John and Shirley, did not inherit the bulk of his fortune. Instead, most of his estate and the rights to his name went to the Bradman Foundation, a charity dedicated to preserving his legacy and promoting cricket. The foundation gained full commercial control of the Bradman brand, meaning the family could not profit from its use. Tensions erupted in the early 2000s when John Bradman sued the foundation, arguing that over-commercialization risked reducing Bradman to just a brand name rather than an honored legacy. The case settled privately with some usage restrictions placed on the foundation, but the will's structure remained untouched. This meant that while Bradman's children retained the family name, the financial benefits of one of Australia's most marketable sporting identities stayed firmly with the foundation. 3. Peterbrock. 9-time Bathurst 1000 winner Peter Brock, affectionately known as Peter Perfect, died in a rally crash in Western Australia in 2006 at the age of 61. In his will, the bulk of his estate went to his de facto partner of 3 years, Julie Bamford. His adult children, Robert and Alexandria, from his first marriage, received only modest cash gifts and no significant share of memorabilia, assets, or licensing rights. This quickly became contentious, as the children wished for key pieces of Brock's legacy to be preserved rather than sold. Bamford, who had legal control of his estate, sold several prized items to settle debts, holding high-profile auctions in the late 2000s and early 2010s. Among the items were Bathurst-winning race suits, trophies, and even cars from his legendary career. On top of this, Bamford controlled the commercial rights to the name Peter Brock, allowing her to authorize merchandise and public appearances under his name. The children, while vocal about their feelings, had no legal recourse due to the will's terms. 4. Aaron Spelling. When television mogul Aaron Spelling died in 2006, his net worth was estimated at $500 million, with credits including Beverly Hills, 9210, Dynasty, and Charmed. His daughter, actress Tori Spelling, was widely expected to inherit a vast sum. Instead, she reportedly received just $800,000 in cash and stocks. The majority went to his wife, Candy Spelling, with whom Tori has had a famously strained relationship. Tori admitted in a 2013 interview that she had anticipated more, saying, "I lost my father. I lost my hero. But did I think I would get more? Yes. Candy later explained she felt her daughter lacked the financial discipline to manage a larger sum, noting that Tori could close a store and drop $50,000 to $60,000 in one shopping trip. This limited inheritance forced Tori to face financial struggles in the years that followed, despite her Hollywood upbringing. 5. Philip Seymour Hoffman. Oscar-winning actor Philip Seymour Hoffman died in 2014 from an accidental overdose, leaving behind a $35 million estate. His will left everything to his partner, costume designer Mimi O'Donnell, rather than directly to their children, Cooper, Tallulah, and Willa. Hoffman had told his accountant he did not want his children to become trust fund kids and trusted O'Donnell to provide for them. However, because the couple was unmarried, the estate faced an estimated $15 million in taxes, reducing what O'Donnell ultimately received. Hoffman's will also included a personal wish that his son be raised in or near Manhattan, Chicago, or San Francisco so he could be immersed in culture. While this choice aligned with his values, it sparked debate about whether bypassing direct inheritance truly shields children from entitlement, especially when the remaining parent faces financial pressures of their own. 6. Jayne Mansfield. Hollywood bombshell Jayne Mansfield was the epitome of glamour in the 1950s and 60s, but her financial reality was far less glossy. When she died in a car accident in 1967, she left behind 5 children, Jane Marie, Miklos, Zoltan, Mariska, and Antonio, and a mountain of unpaid debts. Her estate was insolvent, burdened by overdue taxes and mortgage payments, meaning there was nothing of value to distribute. The children were raised by surviving parents or guardians, with no significant financial cushion from their mother's once promising career. Mariska Hargitay, now a celebrated actress on Law & Order, Special Victims Unit, has often spoken of how her mother's sudden death shaped her, but never about inheriting any wealth. Mansfield's story remains a stark reminder that public image doesn't always reflect private reality. 7. Steve Irwin. Globally adored for The Crocodile Hunter, Steve Irwin built a career on daring wildlife encounters and heartfelt conservation efforts. His death in 2006 shocked the world. Despite his TV fame and film success, including The Crocodile Hunter, Collision Course, which grossed $33.4 million on a $12 million budget, Irwin's children reportedly inherited only a life insurance payout of about $200,000, £98,000. Rather than amassing personal wealth, Irwin channeled most of his earnings back into Australia's zoo and conservation projects. While this meant a smaller immediate payout, Robert and Bindi are expected to one day inherit the zoo and its associated land, which may prove to be their father's most valuable legacy. Irwin's approach underscores a different definition of inheritance, one focused on mission and legacy rather than cash. So why don't famous children always inherit their parents' fortunes? These stories reveal a recurring truth: when it comes to celebrity wealth, public perception often lags far behind reality. Lavish lifestyles and star power create the assumption that children will be financially secure for life, but behind the scenes, a very different picture often emerges. In some cases, like Michael Hutchence and Jayne Mansfield, fortunes simply weren't there at the end, either due to financial mismanagement, debts, or business structures that absorbed assets long before heirs saw them. For Don Bradman, the decision was deliberate, directing his wealth toward a cause rather than his children. For Peter Brock and Aaron Spelling, the way assets were distributed reflected personal relationships and trust, or a lack of it. Philip Seymour Hoffman's will was shaped by a fear of raising trust fund kids, even at the cost of high estate taxes. And Steve Irwin's example showed that for some, legacy takes the form of institutions and ideals rather than bank deposits. The emotional fallout of being left with little is compounded when the public assumes you've been handed millions. Celebrity offspring often face not only financial adjustments but also intense scrutiny about how they handle what they do, or don't, inherit. Ultimately, these cases highlight that a famous surname doesn't always guarantee a fortune, and that a parent's final wishes can reflect values, priorities, and private family dynamics that may surprise the outside world. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe and turn on the notification bell for more updates on celebrity deaths and news updates.